This is Brian, and welcome back to this commentary playthrough of Super Mario Bros. 3. What should certainly be the last part here, because all I have left is Bowser's Castle, as far as I know. And this was a regular NES game, so I doubt there's going to be much of a long ending to it. Might as well go ahead and use some stuff to head in. Still got a couple of Tanuki suits. 3 of them. Couple P-Wings, the Hammer Bros suit. I doubt if I'm going to make it through on the first trip. So I will try to show off the Hammer Bros suit, but I think first I'm just going to use a Tanuki suit to scope out the area a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Is that a one-time thing? Okay. Wasn't sure if I wanted to go up there or not. Okay, now it's gonna make me start over. I think... let's use another one. For one thing, I'll just fly over those guys this time. Let's take this up. Okay. Drop here. I think I want to be a little careful. That flame gonna fall? Okay, at least I'm getting to see a little bit more of what's going on in here. Yeah, okay. Another one bites the dust. Alright, now let's show off the Hammer Bros suit. So basically, instead of shooting firepower, he'll just throw hammers. Ah, damn it. Well, I wanted to at least show it off, even if I did lose it kind of right away. You kidding me? Wonder if I just held to the right if I would actually make it over there. Instead of falling down. If I go through the bottom, I'm not sure if I can make it through that without getting hit. Okay, didn't think I was that close to it. I was just wondering if a P-Wing would really help going through here. Like for the first part, obviously, flying through there would help. But for some of that stuff, I don't know if it would really be a benefit or not. Well, let's try it out here again. Although, I'm not sure now. I mean, I'm going to go through this time anyway, but I'll think about it. I guess I'm almost out of power-ups anyway, so I'd kind of have to use a P-Wing. Yeah. Fly past those guys. Try to be a little more careful and make it a little farther through again. I suppose on that one I could have just gone, but... I think I want to see what's on the highest up part of this. Ooh, I almost missed it. But I think if you just try to jump across there, you're not going to make it. You got to kind of wait for that block to fall a little bit. Okay, so we're... Okay. More of these guys. Oh, shit. Why isn't he... Why am I not jumping higher there? Oh, Jesus. Fireballs. Does that mean Bowser's over here already? Let me see if I can fly over part of this at least. Okay, yeah, that's probably... I don't want to try to test my luck too much more there. Okay, made it through that. Now, got more going, or is it going to be Bowser? Okay, yeah, I remember this one. This is Bowser. Yeah, basically, I'm just gonna... try to force him to dig his own grave here. Are you gonna be able to shoot that all the way down to hit me here? Yep. Now if I can stay in this spot... Oh shit. He jumped a lot later than I expected that time. Okay. I think that's it though. So it's not one of the harder Bowser fights necessarily, but... Castle wasn't necessarily easy, but I just kind of took my time and felt my way through it a little bit. It wasn't the hardest. Here's the princess. She's a brunette in this game, I guess. Thank you. But our princess is in another castle. Yeah. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. Bye bye. Yeah, very funny. And I think, yeah, that was basically what they give you. Now it'll show credits and it might show like enemies and stuff. Yeah, okay. So they actually tell you what the worlds are. World 1 was Grassland. World 2 is Desert Hill. World 3, Oceanside. I just always think of it as like Water World and Desert World. World 4, Big Island. Well, that makes sense. World 5, The Sky. Well, yeah. And there it shows the statue for the Tanuki suit. World 6 is Iceland. Not Iceland, Iced Land. World 7 is Pipe Maze. Yeah. And World 8 is Castle of Koopa. I guess I don't know. In this version of the game, did they ever call him Bowser? I think they just might have referred to him as King Koopa the whole time. Well, it looks like that's the end. Are they going to do anything else, like credits more, or... I'm going to try and hit the start button and a couple other ones just to see if it just brings me back to the beginning screen. Okay, yep. That's it. I think I will just select to start just so I kind of have this music in the background while I'm doing a short review here for you. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly... It would be in my top 5 for NES games. Maybe... I don't know if I'd put it at number 1, but it's certainly in the running for it. I mean, there are some pretty good games. Like, I love Final Fantasy because, like, RPGs. Metroid, pretty good. I'd put Punch-Out up there just because I've put a ton of hours into that over the years. Not that great at it, but I always enjoyed playing it. Anyway, though, this one's about Mario 3, so first I'm just going to go over a few points that I thought really helped the game, some good things they did, and then I have a couple of criticisms. They have a lot more good to say than bad to say about this game, so let's start with the good. As far as platforming games go, I'm not that great at them necessarily, but I thought they did it pretty well in this game. It wasn't like super tight. There was a little bit of room for error, and most of the jumps weren't like impossibly far to the point where you had to have a perfect jump to make it or something like that. So I did appreciate that aspect here. Some of the earlier Mario games and some of the other games, like again, like Mega Man series, they make the platforming pretty hard in some of them. The next thing is power-ups and suits. I think they did a pretty good job with their power-ups they provided in this game. Notably, the variety of suits they give you, and the slightly different utility they have. Like the frog suit, making it the really long jumping and being able to swim better. I didn't necessarily find it that useful, but I appreciate the fact that they put it in there. And then, of course, like the raccoon suit with the leaf and the Tanuki suit, which are kind of the same in that they allow you to fly, but the Tanuki suit just adds a little bit to it because, well, it makes you look a little different, and it gives you the ability to turn into that statue for a little bit of added protection. I didn't ever use that to the point where I got to demonstrate how it would protect you, but it is there, and I think it's pretty obvious. It's just, I don't remember what all scenarios it would protect you from or what damage types. What else? Well, I mean, the general mushrooms and fire flowers are always staples in most of the earlier Mario games, at least. So it's always nice to have those. And the Hammer Bro suit was pretty cool. I only got one of those and I didn't use it for very long. It's more of a novelty though. It's not like it really helps out that much as far as I could tell. I'd probably rather have the Fire Flower. But it's something different. Like there was that one level where we get that shoe from the Goomba that we can jump in, and it was kind of interesting, but I think it only showed up in one level, so that's kind of odd. I might have missed a couple, but those were the main ones I thought about and kind of considered. Next thing was the warp system in the game. I thought was pretty cool. It wasn't as fine-tuned as like the Star Road in Mario World, but well, this was its predecessor, so that makes sense. But yeah, being able to get warp whistles and get quickly to the end of the game if you wanted to, a nice option to, especially for players that are just looking to try to challenge after they've played through it a few times and just see how quickly they can get through it. I guess that kind of goes in line with my next point. The length of the game was pretty good, I thought, for this kind of game. It almost, sometimes, I remember it being when I was younger, it was almost a little too long, just because, well, you're not saving it. So you had to sit down and play it through in one sitting. I would still consider it to be pretty good length, just because, well, if it was too much shorter, then it might get a little repetitive playing through it. But yeah, I don't know, I guess I could count that as a positive and a negative at the same time, kinda, just depending on your perspective and how you want to look at it. The next point I had was the difficulty level. It is certainly not an easy game, but I also don't consider it to be one of the harder ones, especially for the regular NES, because there were some gems in there for high difficulty. Some of the, like Ninja Gaiden, some of those games were pretty tough. Castlevania could be pretty tough, even though it's a relatively short game if you put at it and just make it through it. Contra, Silver Surfer is notorious. So, I mean, yeah, there are a lot harder games out there than this one, so I think it was a pretty good mix of giving you some challenge, plus letting you just, you know, use trial and error and just get better as you play through it. So even a casual gamer, I think, could pick up this game and make it quite a way through it if you were willing to just put in the repetition and trying out the levels to get better at them. Like, I'm certainly not saying I'm that great at this still, but you can see as I went, if you watch the whole playthrough, I was a little bit better towards the end than I had been at the beginning, just trying to shake off the rust and stuff, you know. If you start up a game that you haven't played in a few years, and even if you'd played a lot, it seems like you gotta have a little bit of that muscle memory coming back a little bit. It doesn't all get there right away. The last thing I wanted to comment on for things I really liked about the game, and this is just kind of a fondness, I suppose, maybe from nostalgia, but I thought it did a pretty good job with having the two-player system in this one if you did have somebody to play with. Because the second person was Luigi, the first one was Mario, and the way it would work is you just alternated taking turns on levels. Like if I played as Mario and I beat level 1, then level 2, or the second player would get a chance to go to level 2 and beat that one. And if you died on the level, well then it was the next person's turn and they got a chance to take on that level, so... I think it was that way in like Super Mario World also, but I remember playing this one with friends in high school and even in college. Although then they're usually involved drinking sometimes, and we didn't necessarily make it that far because eventually your your ability to perform wasn't quite as good. Alright, now I do have a few criticisms I wanted to talk about. First one kind of goes on the whole difficulty thing I talked about, and like I said, overall I thought it was pretty good on difficulty, but there were a few spikes where you got to a world that was just a lot tougher than what you'd done before. Personally, for me, 3 and then kind of 5 and 6 were the ones that stand out. I think some people also think like the desert world was a difficulty spike, but I think I'm just a little more used to that one because I've played through it more times, so that wasn't too bad for me. But I always kind of hate the water worlds and the way they make you swim in these games, so that was one for me. And the cloud levels were just, well, that was a lot more spot-on platforming, more of an issue for me sometimes. And ice is just, well, ice physics, yeah. Enough said on that, I think. The last minor criticism I have is the star power. It really didn't last very long, to the point that on most of the levels, I don't feel like it was even that much worth using, just because it wouldn't last long enough for you to really get much out of it. One exception, I suppose, would be if you used it to beat the Hammer Bros, like the guy walking on the map by the castle there right now. That would be a nice use of them, I suppose, just to zip in there with the star on and just take them out quickly. So, yeah, I suppose there's that at least. And I mean, it's not like it kills the experience for me, it really felt like they didn't last long at all. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and call it there for today then, and we'll call it for the series here on Super Mario 3 for the NES. Next up in this time slot, I have a few games I've been contemplating doing next. And honestly, I haven't really completely decided yet. The top ones on the list I have are all from series that I've started already, and I would just go further in on them. One being Mega Man 3 would be the next one I would need to get in Mega Man. And I just plan on doing those in numerical order. I know, like Zelda, I haven't necessarily been doing those games in order, but Mega Man, I don't really see a reason to go out of order on them because they just kind of build off of each other, I think, for the most part. They added a few new elements in every game. and I'm not as familiar with some of them anyway. Mario, I am going to keep doing some of these older Mario games as well. The next one I think the next one I would want to do is Super Mario Land for Game Boy. That's a nice short one, which I wouldn't see that taking too long for me to beat it. But I think I want to put it off a little longer just because I don't probably want to do another Mario game right away. And the other one would be in the Zelda series then. The next one I would plan on doing there would be Zelda 2 for the NES. The Adventure of Link, I think is what that one's called. Zelda 2. And that one's a little bit different. Fans seem somewhat divided on it. I like it. I mean, it's not my favorite Zelda game, but I still appreciate it for what it is. It can be a little bit difficult in parts. Don't know if I'm going to show everything on screen or if I'll ever get to the point where I feel like I want to grind for a few levels, but we'll discuss that as I get into it. And now that I talk about it here, I think I will go with Zelda 2 as the next one, so we'll pick up here tomorrow and we'll start with that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and I hope you keep coming back for more. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe or follow, and we'll catch you next time.